This week on What Do You Got? We're going to be talking about ways to save money. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all fucking day. Oh, yeah.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bro Down Podcast. I'm Andy Smith.
And I'm Tim Fuller.
And this week on What Do You Got?
What do you got?
It's Tim's turn.
My turn.
Tim's turn.
This is my house.
Tim, what do you got going on in your house today?
Ways to save money. You know, because we have the highest interest rate in 30 some odd years. We have the highest cost of living possibly ever known to mankind. I thought it'd be a good idea.
I think it actually, well, no, the housing differential is the highest. Or for like income to, what do they call that number? You're smart.
GDP? No.
No. Like the average income versus the price of the average home.
Oh, sure. I don't know what that word is.
Like the highest it ever was 2008, where it was at 7 times the average income. It's at like 7.5 now.
That's a great sign. Great sign. Well, because of all these high numbers,
We got to save money.
you got to save money. So I came up with a list of ways to save money, and I figured I would just tally off, get your input on some of these.
Okay,
And at
so
the end, maybe we can just spitball and come up with a couple of other ones.
Okay, so go one by one. We'll talk about each one for a minute, or none at all if they're bad.
Yeah, no, they're all pretty hardcore. Number one, everyone always jokes, don't eat the avocado toast. Don't get coffee out. Did you ever hear that?
Yeah.
So they blame the avocado toast.
I don't get the avocado toast.
Someone said millennials eat avocado toast and that's why we're poor. And it became like this meme.
I don't understand it.
Apparently we eat avocado toast and that's expensive and that's why we're poor.
Oh. Is it like come prepackaged?
No.
Oh,
This is all immediately already over your
are avocados like expensive?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was the guy who said, stop having avocado toast. So there's like all those basic things. Don't have avocado toast. Don't get your coffee out, blah, 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 blah. But they're mistaken. What they should be saying is don't buy avocado toast. Don't buy coffee.
Yeah.
But you can still have those things.
Agreed.
If you see your neighbor with avocado toast, just fucking take it.
Yeah, just steal it.
Just steal it.
Just start doing push-ups, become bigger than the people around you, and then you can take what you have and start a horde.
Yeah. And if you want to go to Starbucks, if you like that Starbucks coffee, go to the drive-thru, grab that cup of coffee, and just pull away.
And if they give you problems, get a gun.
Do you think
don't do
a
that.
kid making $7.15 an hour is going to chase you down and say, "Sir, you need to pay"? No, he's
Not if
gonna
you're smart.
No, not if he's smart. He's gonna go.
And if you're out of shape, throw the coffee on him. It's hot.
That's number one. Steal your avocado toast. Steal your coffee.
Yeah.
So that way you can have the best of both worlds.
The coffee one's a good example because every time I go by Dunkin' Donuts in the morning or whatever, the lines are out to the street.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like, people always say, well, I don't have time in the morning. But you have time to wait for 20 minutes online.
That bothers me. It does.
It's not about that. I don't get it.
I
I get it, but I don't get it. And we did the math once because we used to do this at my office where we were always kind of buying coffee. And this is like years ago.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where we're all just like, why are we spending because coffee's not that cheap anymore.
It used to be like $1,
Yeah.
95 cents.
For like an extra large coffee, it's like $3.50.
Yeah.
So you figure $3.50 a day, 5 days a week for the average workday. There's 255 work days in a year. So
$17.50 times
52.
52. We'll do times 50 because of days off.
Yeah.
So $17.50 times that's $500. That's $750.
Yeah. That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
So just take it.
Well, not only that, we just did the math. We're like, if we just bought like a container of coffee and a $20 coffee maker, you'd make your money back within like a month.
Yeah.
For the whole year.
Easily. Especially if you're splitting it with people.
Especially if it's at work. And then guess what? You just have it at work.
Yeah.
It's there.
It's
and
there.
if you work a construction job, guess what? Just make it before you go. Just get one with a timer. Spend the extra $20 or $40 for a thing.
Yeah. You have the little to-go container.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Get a thermos. Yeah. You fucking loser.
Number 2, meal prep.
That's another really good one because there's no place that you can eat that's cheaper than buying your own food. You can
And
get
when you-
places that are close depending on what you're buying, but for the most part, it's really about that's the hardest part is being dedicated to do it for the week.
Yeah, see, and a lot of people think it's arguable that it's easier, but you need one spout of dedication. So if you make food for the week, you need a really good Sunday and you get it all done. But if you're going to cook for yourself because you want to save money and you do it throughout the week, well, now you have to cook every single day.
And
which is a pain in the ass.
Here's another thing that it is a pain in the ass. But another thing that people get hooked on with that is that one of two things. They either think that they have to cook all their meals for the whole week, every one of them, like lunch, dinner, snacks, breakfast, and they're like, it's too overwhelming, I can't do it. So they don't do any of it.
Yeah.
Number two is that they're like, well, I don't want to eat the same thing every day. And it's like, okay, well, you have to know yourself enough to know what you can and can't deal with. So either lower your expectations about diversity of food or cook a bunch of different meals on one day.
What I like to do, well, with one of my things, I will eat a bunch of the same food a lot, but if I cook like chicken or something like that and like we'll have like a salad, I'll switch up the dressing. But
Yeah,
you can keep dressing for however long. So at least you're getting like different flavor, whatever, but yeah.
One of the best things I've found to do when it comes to meal prepping is try to prep meals that you can freeze and they don't like get ruined by freezing them. Like chicken's kind of tough by itself because it tends to get a lot tougher when you freeze it.
Yeah, it does.
But if you cook like, chicken with rice and it's like suspended in the rice or soup or stew, like you can freeze that and then just reheat it and it tastes the same. It's very like soups, especially soups and stews and stuff like that.
That's smart.
It comes back very similar to when it was cooked. Okay. But the good thing about that too is that you never throw the food away and you don't have to eat it. Because every once in a while during the week, you're like, I don't feel like I don't mind cooking tonight, but if I don't eat the meal that I prepped, it's going to go to waste. So if you're having trouble with that, just if you freeze them, and that way, if you do have one night a week where you're like, I don't want to eat that, then cook something else. But then you're also not pressured to eat that food. And also, you don't have to do it for every meal. Do it for your lunches. Do it for your dinners. Even if you only do it for 3 days.
Yeah, yeah.
And take 2 days out of the week where you cook something else or order out, whatever. If it's better than ordering out 5 days a week.
Yeah.
And slowly cut it down. But every meal that you do that is saving money.
You're saving legit money.
Yeah.
Food is expensive these days.
Yeah.
Dumb expensive.
Mm-hmm. Another one, I don't know if it's on that list that relates to that, is keep a tally of the food that you throw out every month so that you don't overbuy.
That's a really good idea.
If you buy like something that spoils very easily, like a vegetable or whatever, and you're like, well, I get this many from this, it's double the price, but I get 3 times the amount, but you only eat half of it. It's like, are you really saving money or are you just spending more to get more
that's actually a really good point.
that you're going to throw out?
That's a really good point.
Just keep a tally, like, bought 3 heads of lettuce or, 6 pounds of hamburger, and I only ate half of each.
Yeah.
So next time I go, just don't get that much.
Yeah, that's smart.
Or start freezing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smart.
Sorry.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right, number 3, get a third job, you lazy bitches.
Third one.
Get a third job.
Yeah.
You're going to see where this list is going.
Okay.
Because a lot of you out there are complaining, oh, I don't have money. Oh, I don't have money. What are you doing with your time? You're sleeping. You're playing video games. You're reading books. Fucking dumb. You could do all that another time. You could do that when you're fucking 80. Get a third job. Get the financial security. Don't give a shit about sleep. Get over it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I tend to agree. I would say that reading a book is probably one of the ones I wouldn't throw out because, like, I feel like you can get some from that. But like the video games and stuff, if you're bitching about money, but you have time to play video games, you have time to make more money. And here's the thing. Your second job is probably not going to be as high paying as your first job, or it would be your first job.
100%.
So you're just going to have to, and here's the other thing too. If you really don't want a second job because of whatever reason, try to find a second job that's a hobby.
That's a really smart idea, too.
Even if it's something that's like, selling things you make out of wood to your local gardening supply store.
Something you would probably be doing anyway.
Something you do anyway just to help, or even if it supports a hobby that you have.
You know what my dad did for a while? He
Sells crack.
he was planting and not making, but plants.
I thought I was.
And
gonna have
he was selling them. He would sell them for a crap ton of money. There's those red Japanese maples. I think I gave you one.
Yeah.
They from seeds, they're pennies. So you pop them and you grow them and you wait a couple of years and then you sell them. And a medium-sized plant will sell for $50.
Oh wow.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, it takes a couple of years. You're not going to see the money in your pocket tomorrow, but he has a green thumb. He loves doing that shit.
Well,
So,
that's it. That's a hobby, an investment, and a potential money maker. Not going to change your life money, depending on how many seeds you plant, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's an interesting way of making a hobby something that you could get a little extra cash for, when it probably funds itself after a couple years.
100%. 4, pay down high interest rate cards instead of saving cash. A lot of people make this mistake. A lot of people think that they need to have a lot of money in their savings account, but they also carry balances on their credit cards, which is a very big mistake. The interest that you gain on savings accounts is dwarfed dramatically by interest you spend on credit cards. So if you take a majority of that money, I'm not saying use every dollar you have, but if you take a majority of that money and you pay down your credit cards, you're going to be saving month to month. And these things accrue. So
yeah, you're talking like high interest for a savings account versus like around the average credit card interest. You're talking like 50 times the amount of money.
Yeah.
So this is one that I think you should probably go a little more in detail on for like, especially people that don't really pay attention to things like that, because people think they need to owe shit money, which you definitely do. But if you look at it over the course of the life of how long it's going to take you to pay off that card, and the interest that you would have paid on that card is money that you would then have at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people think, well, I'm paying the minimum. But you're almost paying that credit card company to keep your balance.
100%. So if we look at it, I think a lot of cards have like 15% interest rates and stuff like that.
That's the lowest.
Yeah. So,
15.99 is if you have perfect credit score.
okay, so we'll go off 20%. So if we say 20% accrued monthly, so let's make up an imaginary number. Say you have $1,000 in your bank account and you have $1,000 on a credit card. So, and in your savings account. So the savings account is probably 0.5%. So throughout the course of a year, that $1,000 is going to accrue $6. $6.
Don't do the compounding monthly in your head. Just say it's compounded once a year for simple numbers.
Oh, okay, so I'm gonna up the percentage to no, I don't have to do that. So yeah, you make $6 off of that. If you're paying 20% on $1,000, well, you're paying $200 in interest. So your net loss is $194 in 1 year, and that's off of $1,000. If you use that $1,000 in your savings account to pay off, your net change is zero. You saved $194 in 1 year, and again, that's just off of a $1,000.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly. So if you look at it in terms of like how most people's debt is, you're talking probably 10 grand at least.
Yeah.
So at 20% of 10 grand, it's $2,000 a year extra. Now, when you compound monthly, that's more like 23.
Yeah.
So $2,300 extra that you're paying off every year. Now, every grand that you pay down off of that, it gets minus by $230 that you're losing every year.
100%.
It sucks to bite the bullet, but when you don't have, you're basically paying a membership so that you don't have to pay the debt that you owe.
Yeah. And there's things you can do. I know a lot of people like the oh shit money, but there are ways you can protect yourself too. Like if you're smart and you have a property or whatever and you have this, that, the other thing, you can get a line of credit on your house, which is essentially a fancy credit card that can turn into cash, but you don't have to use it. So you can sit on it and have $30,000, $40,000 in, oh shit, something broke, I need to pay for it now money, but pay off those high interest rotating debts much faster while still.
What I used for, say, medical bills was I would open up a credit card with 0% interest for 12 to 18 months. And basically during that time, I would pay off my other credit cards down until they were zero. and then it usually would take a couple months, and then so basically I'm paying no interest. So on that new card, after I get that, I now have an extra 6 to 12 months to pay that off interest free. So by the time that 12 months comes down, instead of having to pay, 20% interest on 10 grand for 18 months, I only pay it whatever the balance is after that 18 months. So I save myself 18 months of interest. And one of the things that you can do, and a lot of credit card companies do, is they offer you that includes balance transfers. So if you're paying, 20% on a credit card and you get a new credit card, you can transfer that balance to the new card that has 0% on it, and you'll pay 0% interest on the 18 months. And a lot of people are like, well, there might be a fee. So they may charge you a fee to transfer your balance, but all you have to do is look to see if the interest you're saving over 18 months would cover the fee.
100%.
And if it does, it's worth it because you're still going to be paying that off minus the fee.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of those tricks, and it's I think people get intimidated, and they feel like credit card companies, banks are always trying to fuck them over. And if you just kind of sit down with a calculator and do the math on it, it's very easy to figure out. It's just adding, subtracting. It's not really that difficult to figure out. It's just you have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that's a real big one. I know a lot of people that have paid thousands of dollars in interest on credit cards that is pretty unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I fully agree. And a lot of people like to stick their head in the sand for that stuff too.
Yeah,
They don't
it's
even
easier.
It's easier.
It's easier.
Yeah, they get super overwhelmed. All right. I forget where the fuck I am here. Number 5, get fired.
Get fired.
Start doing terrible at your job, and here's why. Because when you start doing terrible in your job, they're going to let you go. When you get let go, you can now collect unemployment. While collecting unemployment, you can get a second job for cash. Now, guess what? You got 2 incomes.
Yeah.
What's better than 2 incomes? 3, get a third job.
Yeah. I'll put it to you this way. That is not a moral high ground decision, but if you have a job that's in a career that you know that you don't want to do, or it's in a job of a career that you don't need to gain any more experience in, something like, say you're working at a Lowe's or a McDonald's or something where you're like, I can't go any higher here, and I don't want to go any higher here, and it's an entry level job. I'm on the younger side. I want to get into this, that, or the other thing. If you do get fired, that's not a bad situation because you can collect unemployment. And then the cash job, even if it's only for $10 an hour, $20 an hour would be fantastic because that's $40,000 a year cash. So, but all that is you basically live off the income of the unemployment. If you need a supplement for, hiccups, you use the cash money, but that goes into the bank savings.
Yeah.
And then after unemployment runs out, everyone's looking for work nowadays. You can get a job at most places.
There's jobs out there.
Yeah, so that's why I said as long as it's not like this investment career job, if it's just one that you can interchange around, that's not quite a bad idea. But that's also probably why we're in one of the reasons why we're in a bad spot right now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I love how you're trying to justify these. It's hysterical.
Yeah. I will. I'll find it.
6, sell unused items around your house. Everyone.
That's a good one.
Everyone has a ton of crap, and when you hang on to it like it's freaking gold for some unknown reason. Do you know how many clothes I have that I haven't worn in 2 years? Dumb. Sell it. Sell all your extra stuff. Free up some room in your house, which we all need to do, and put a little money in your pocket.
Yeah. Not only that, it's nice to have not a lot of things.
It is.
Sometimes, depending on what it is that you have. I mean, gold bars. It's nice to have a lot of those. But
I mean, you might want to sell those anyway.
Yeah, there's an old thing I heard once where they tell you to, at the beginning of the year, turn everything in your closet around.
I've heard this, yeah.
And by the end of the year, whatever didn't go back in the rack the right way, toss it or sell it.
Because you clearly don't wear it.
Because you didn't wear it through all the seasons. You didn't wear it. Now, if you have sentimental things that you don't want to throw out, yeah. But we all have a couple things that we don't ever use, that don't even fit, don't even know that are in there. And if you can get money for them, get money for them.
Yeah.
If you can't, then don't. But there definitely is something to be said about having like living lightly in that regard. And it's not talking about like it's more things that like have one purpose and they're not used for that purpose.
Yeah.
You know,
And someone out there is going to use them. So there's like apps these days you can use. You can do a good old fashioned yard sale or something like that. Maybe get some like neighbors involved or whatnot, and make it a fun experience. Or I don't know.
yeah. And we're not talking about like power tools where you're like, oh, I haven't used my Sawzall in a year, so I'm going to sell it. And then like you need a Sawzall the next day. Like that's a little different. But things that like are just laying around that don't really serve a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Toss.
Sell.
9. 9?
No, 7. What was it?
7. Sorry, I'm jumping around a little bit here. 7. Make your kids get to work. Tell me. Be honest with me. They don't even need to go to fucking school. All right? If you have little little Susie. If you have little Susie.
It's a good name.
Thanks. And you tell her, hey, I want you to go start a lemonade stand. And then you give her a quota. And you say, if you don't fill this quota, your teddy bear is going to lose its head.
I think that's
Who do you
legal.
think is going to do better in life? Little Susie or the girl who's skipping around at recess? Susie. She's going to figure out life real fucking quick. She's going to be a master at it. And meanwhile, you're going to turn her into a little money bags and you're going to be fucking rolling in it. We all have these delusions in our head of like when we were young, we were like, oh, I used to love summer skipping and doing all this. No, fuck that. Make them go door to door. Make them shovel shit. Make them do whatever they can. Make them sit on the sidewalk, beg.
Drug mule.
Drug mule.
I mean, it's obvious. Seriously though, good trick for lemonade stand people. I heard this once on the internet. If it's $1 for a lemonade and they hand you 10, say thanks for the tip. Nobody's gonna argue with a 7-year-old about getting their money back.
Little Susie's gonna pick up on that real fucking quick. Let me tell you.
On a real note, though, just to justify this, because I'm gonna find a justification for all the silly ones.
Okay.
If your child is of age to be trusted at such tasks, have them do things around the house and that either A, would cost money to have somebody do, or B, take up your time that you could otherwise be doing something that would also save you money, i.e. mowing the lawn. If you pay a landscaper to mow your lawn and you have a kid over the age of 10, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. If your kid is capable,
Fair.
throw the fucking iPad in the closet, say the lawn's 6 inches until it's 3 inches, no iPad. Figure it out.
That's a fair statement.
I'll show you how to use a lawnmower once. Don't cut your fingers off. If you can't figure that out, scissors are in the top drawer of the kitchen. But it will improve that situation.
Everything.
Because that stuff adds up. It's got to be at least $40-$50 for somebody to come and cut your lawn, depending on the size of your lawn.
Yeah. It's 40
There's no
bucks
reason
for
that
me.
you can't, take what? $40 a week? How many weeks are in summer that your grass grows? 3-4 months?
Yes. We'll say 20 weeks.
So 20 weeks. So 20 times 40.
$800.
$800.
There you go.
Push mower? How much is a push mower?
I don't know.
What is it? $300 for a decent one?
I genuinely have no idea.
So say $400, half.
Yeah.
And guess what? You don't have to buy it every year. It
Yeah.
lasts. I mean, I got ones that are 20 years old that still run
Yeah.
perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good investment. Teach your kid how to mow the lawn.
That's fair. 8. Use less utilities. People are obsessed with it being like 60 degrees in the house or it being 80 degrees in the winter. What is that? I don't understand that. I get liking it a little bit colder when you sleep or whatnot, but everyone needs to calm down a little bit. Like,
Yeah. I agree.
turn off your lights and just dial it back a little bit. If you're sitting there saying to yourself, I'm so poor, and when it's 100 degrees outside, you have it set to 50, 59, you're not doing yourself any favor. And it's funny because everyone will complain. They'll be like, oh, I just can't stand the heat, can't stand the heat. Well, guess what? That's because you never let yourself experience it. Let yourself get warm for a day or two. And all of a sudden, your body adapts. Humans throughout history have been able to adapt to
Preach.
mind-boggling things. You'll survive in 80-degree weather. We just had 2 90-degree days over this past weekend. I haven't even put in my air conditioner yet because it was 70 at night, so I can still sleep comfortably. And B, why? Why?
Yeah.
I can survive a 90-degree day.
So
It's not that bad.
I have a lot of feelings on this subject.
Okay.
Okay, number one, I grew up in a very energy conscious household.
Fair.
Okay, so I'm talking about 2-minute showers, anything over 2 minutes, possibility that the hot water's getting shut off. You know, if you're in a room playing Legos, the lights get shut off because you don't need them on because it's 4 PM, even if there's no windows in that room. I'm talking you're washing your hands and someone will come over and turn the faucet on halfway because you don't need all the water coming out to wash your hands. You don't need all that water. So I get it. Like, it can be taken to an extreme. I probably take it to a more extreme than the average person. But there is something to be said for what you were mentioning. A lot of times it's people are not comfortable being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying that you need to sweat it through your sheets every night. I'm not saying that. But
I agree.
what is good practice for people to do in general is expose yourself to uncomfortable shit so you know what it's like. And guess what? You lived.
Yeah.
Okay? It happens all the time. I see it all the time. People outside, and it's not people's fault, right? It's not an office worker's fault that they never dug ditches in August.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not their fault. But people that dig ditches in August for a living, like, they don't really mind the heat, right? I'm sure they like an air conditioning house, but it's not like, oh, the air conditioning's broken, my life's falling apart, I'll pay $1,000 to have somebody here today to fix it. It's not that bad. It's really not. So just being aware that you're not going to die and it's okay to be uncomfortable sometimes is fine. And especially in the wintertime, like, I always say the heat is harder to escape than the cold.
I fully agree.
Because you can put more clothes on, you can't take your skin off.
Yeah.
So in the wintertime, there's days when you're like, oh, it'd really be nice to turn the heat way up or start the fire. But you're like, am I really that cold, or can I just put a long sleeve shirt on? I'll put a long sleeve shirt on and save $5.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, well, that's getting real stingy. It's like, well, yeah, but I'm still saving $5. And the only difference in being stingy or not is my level of caring about it. And it's like, if I don't really mind it, then what's the problem?
What's the difference?
What's the difference?
Yeah.
I don't understand it. Like, and I'm not saying, again, you have to go to extremes. There's definitely levels to that whole thing. But we all know people, when you go in, every light in their house is on. And that's hey, you pay for the bill. Turn everything on. Turn it all on.
You do you, but then don't complain about it.
Exactly. So, but it's like, hey, if you just were to be a little bit more cautious, or not cautious, just aware of what you're doing.
Yep.
The money will come out in the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good one.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Now we're at 9. 9. Stop paying your rent or your mortgage. Because guess what? Why are you dishing out $1,500 a month to some schmuck? What are they going to do? Turn around, kick you out? Guess what? That takes months, if not years. And by the time that happens, guess who's Mr. Moneybags?
Especially in Jersey.
Especially in Jersey.
Some of the best squatters' rights in the country.
Every now and then, throw them a couple bucks. Be like, here you go, you piece of shit. And they can't kick you out.
Fun fact about the state of New Jersey. If you owe money on your house, you can go for 2 years without paying a penny. All you have to do is make 3 months consecutive payment, called good faith payment, and that clock restarts.
Yep.
So if you owe more money on your house than it's worth, or whatever, and you don't care about your other people's opinion of your whatever,
Your moral upstanding.
your moral upstanding, you're not going to be James J. Braddock going and giving the welfare money back once you make money. Like, very few people do that, but it's still a law. So if you basically, you can only pay 1.5 months out of every year and never be kicked out of your house, and they have to let you stay there, and you could basically bank the other 23 and a half months. Or 22 and a half months.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 10 and a half months out of the year.
Yeah, yeah. Think about all that cash. That cash in your pocket.
It really is a crazy law, because if you think about, if people just bought a house.
Yeah.
If you just bought a house and you put no money down on it, and you did that over and over and over again for 20 years, you would have so much money in the bank that you could literally just say, okay, take the house.
I'm just gonna buy a new one cash.
I'm just going to buy a new one cash.
Yeah. Welcome to the world.
How come
I wonder at what point that becomes a crime.
I wonder how many people do that. Can they seize your assets? No.
I don't know.
Do you have to claim bankruptcy? No,
Yeah.
they just take your house because that's your collateral.
Yeah,
You didn't put your bank account on collateral. They would just take your house.
I believe so.
I might be buying a house. So anyway, I'm sorry. Next. You were at 9.
I was at 9. I had other ones in here. 10. Buy expensive items. So let me explain this for a second. They say one of the most expensive things in the country is to be poor, and someone gave an example of if you buy a $20 pair of boots versus a $70 pair of boots. Well, that $20 pair of boots is going to wear out well within a year. $70 pair of boots is probably going to last you 10, 15. So yeah, you're buying a cheaper pair of boots, but you're buying it once, one and done. I'm not saying you have to go out there and buy Gucci, but buy good quality items if you can afford it, so that you're not repeating a purchase every so often. I mean, I know I'm kind of speaking to a brick wall about this because I think the last time you bought a shirt was in like 1998.
I think it was the year. Yeah, I think Clinton was still in office.
Yeah, Clinton was still in office.
Yeah, somewhere around Lewinsky. I'm not sure if the trial was done yet. I was little.
Yeah, but there is something to be said about that. If you buy a $20 pair of jeans and they're going to be in tatters within a year or two, buy the $70 pair of jeans. Let them be comfortable, long-lasting, and durable, and all that other stuff. And I'm not just saying clothes. There's a lot of other things that this adheres to too. If you buy a $100 vacuum, yeah, you might have saved a bunch of money on not buying an expensive vacuum, but it's going to be shitty, and it's going to be one of those things that eventually just craps out on you. You may as well suck it up, buy the expensive thing, and let it last like a lifetime.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying, and you have to be to smartly apply that as it's needed.
Yes, that's a
it
good way to
doesn't
put
apply to everything, but I agree on some things it does apply, like the work boots. I mean, I don't know a pair of work boots that lasts 15 years for anybody that actually works.
I'm white. Oh yeah, I'm white collar, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
But I see what the point is, because there's things that are like that where I'll give you an example. And people fall into, I believe it's called the sunk cost fallacy.
Yeah.
Where, you've had so much invested in this type of thinking or this product or whatever that you're too invested to just admit that it's not working and start readjusting where you're investing in.
Yeah.
So you just keep dumping money into it. Like I know I did this on 2 things with AirPods, so headphones.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want to spend $120 on a pair of headphones. So I was like, I'm going to get the cheaper headphones. They're the same thing. So I look at the reviews. I do my research. I'm like, okay, these are pretty good prices. It was like 25 or 30 bucks. I buy it, and it's like immediately, it's like it doesn't link up properly. It doesn't link up all the time. They'll get out of sync, which makes you feel like a crazy person.
Yeah.
And then, sometimes they don't work. The charge doesn't hold. The charger port's broken. It's a little cheaper made. So then I think I might have bought a second cheaper pair, but I might not have ended up going through with it because I was just like, I'm going to get the same thing is going to keep happening, and it's going to be either every year or every 6 months. And before I know it, I'm going to have surpassed the $120 mark, and I could have already had these.
Yeah.
And like some of them didn't work with like phone calls and like reading the reviews. So that was one of the ones where I was like, I'm just going to bite the bullet on this and get the good one. Because if you don't get the good one, it's not going to pay off. Now, there are caveats to this though, depending on certain things. Like there's Harbor Freight?
No.
It's like a poor man's Home Depot. Okay. They don't have lumber and stuff like that, but they have power tools, hand tools, stuff like that, right? They have their own brand. Basically, it's called Pittsburgh Tools, I believe. Now, you have like your Craftsman, you have, Makita, all the Rigid is now a big popular one that Home Depot had. And there's also ones that make like hand tools, like sockets, socket wrenches, all that stuff. So Craftsman used to have the thing where, I think they still have it, where if the tool breaks, doesn't matter if you had it for 30 years or 30 minutes, they replace it, no questions asked.
Okay.
Just bring it in, you have it to them. Pittsburgh Tools does the same thing, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So, but it's like a half the price. So unless you need something that's like a very close, tight tolerance where you need to have something exactly, you know, you can get a decently cheap pair of sockets, a decently cheap pair of wrenches, anything like that. But if you don't have them and you need them, but you don't have the money to spend the creme de la creme, if you look into something like that and you just find like a little, like almost like a diamond in the rough where you're like, hey, it's a cheaper product, the likelihood that it's going to break is higher, but it still has a lifetime come in and just exchange it warranty.
Yeah.
So, yeah, little things like that are worth spending cheaper, but you're getting what you got for it, what you paid for it.
I like it. I like it. All right. Number 11. Start an OnlyFans. I don't care what you look like. I don't care how short you are, how old you are, how fat you are, how out of shape you are. You are somebody's fetish. That is just a fact.
I hate to agree with you.
You just need to find whoever that person is and milk them for all it's worth. Pun intended.
Out of the millions and millions and millions of men and women on this earth who were attracted to Amber Heard before this trial, and then who got unattracted after she shit on his bed, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of men and women who are like, oh.
So she has a
did-
dirty side.
She did what? I'm putting up 2 posters in my room now. Like, he's right. Here's the thing. Think of the craziest thing that you can think of. Now go on a porn site and type that in. Chances that it'll come up,
Ooh.
pretty likely.
Ooh.
Pretty likely, right? Girl fucking a dragon. Got it.
I'm looking up Big Bird porn when I get home.
I guarantee you,
There
they
is.
don't. They not only have Big Bird, but they got the Count. They got fucking Oscar the Grouch with a fucking bowl of empty spaghetti hanging out. It's all there. Trust me, it's all there because they just pop up. Oscar's in a mood. You're right though. Now here's the thing. You might not be hitting like the big genre, right? Like the big. They need to make like a big. Was it like the Big 9 or the big? What's the college thing? The Big 10? Is that a college thing for football?
Sure.
Right, the Big 10.
I guess.
I've heard that before. If the Big 10 was like, you might not be in one of those subjects, right? And you're OnlyFans, but like,
Find your
you're on
niche.
like page 9.
Yeah, you can find your niche.
Yeah,
Maybe you have really good knees. You don't know.
and just don't show from here. You wouldn't want the police to be able to identify you because your job can identify you then. So if you have a job that you lose because of that and just OnlyFans doesn't work out, yeah.
Well, you can combine some of these topics now. Don't forget, if you got fired from your job and you're starting an OnlyFans, now you can double dip.
That's true. And don't use your real name.
Don't use your real name.
Yeah.
All right.
But that's it. That's it's funny, but that is a legitimate actual way to make not just money, not just like, hey, I'm getting by. Like that's like going from
Yeah, I know.
I have no money to which Corvette color do I want to drive today.
How'd you make all that money? Feet.
Remember the girl who was making $100,000 a month farting in jars and selling them?
No.
Yeah. Farting in a jar and selling them.
First off, she could just be sending you a jar.
100%. She have a dude fart in that jar after there's videos of it. Like she videotapes herself farting in a jar and then she caps it and then she's like, this one's going to you. Like it's not like she seals it with like a government seal. It's just like, here's the jar. And then she's like, Pedro, like taco that one up there, buddy.
That's the most upsetting thing I think I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah.
I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah. Well, again, I think this is more of a lucrative business for the female than it is the male.
There's a lot of gay dudes out there.
There is,
A lot
but
of rich gay dudes.
if you think about this statistician, I know that word now, but statistically, if you do like for numbers, half men, half women, right?
yeah.
Just a numbers game.
Oh yeah, numbers game. You're right.
Numbers
You're right.
game. If you're playing stats, if you're throwing darts,
The women have the clear advantage.
They
from
have the clear
get-go.
advantage.
Clear advantage.
yeah. Yeah.
It's not even a.
Well, how many
contest.
women? Okay, let me put this this way. How many women do you know off the top of your head? You don't have to obviously name names. Do you know that would pay for an OnlyFans?
400. I don't know.
Can you even think of one for sure that would do it?
No, not off the top of my head. No.
Now, how many guys do you know that you would think would pay for an OnlyFans? Like, if you found out that they paid for an OnlyFans, you wouldn't be like, what? Him? You'd be like, all right.
I have a handful in my head that I think. That
So
I
you
wanna
went from
shop.
0 to a handful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Okay. Two more,
two more.
and then we're done.
Okay.
So we all like to imbibe in substances every now and then. Have a little drink on the weekend.
Okay.
Some people like to smoke the hashish every now and then. Like get a little rowdy. We like to have fun. Everyone needs that recreational.
Black tar heroin.
Well, I was gonna go with crack. You know how cheap crack is?
Crack is back.
Crack is back. Now you're not paying $15 for a fucking artisanal 6-pack. You're just getting some crack. And once you do it, you'll never think about anything else ever again.
No, you don't have to worry about rent because you sold the house to pay for crack.
Yeah. Just do the fucking crack.
Yeah.
You'll save so much money by
Well-
just doing the crack.
There is a thing about the substances too, especially like booze, liquor, and all that stuff. Number one, you can cut down.
You could.
All
You
right.
could.
Number two, you can try other things that are cheaper.
You could do that too.
You'd be surprised how some people, even people that have like a taste, like an acquired taste for like the higher end liquors,
Yeah.
will randomly try a new lower end liquor, and they'll be like, "That's actually I prefer that
Yeah.
over the higher end."
Yeah.
And you kind of have to, peruse around and find some other things. But there are liquors out there where you like them more than you like other things. Like me personally, I like Jim Beam. I mix with Coke, but I like Jim Beam more than I like Johnny Walker Black. Now, one's a bourbon, one's a Scotch. I know that there's a big difference there. But if I'm drinking it straight, I prefer black
Okay.
because
That
it's
makes
a sipping whiskey or
Yeah.
sipping Scotch. But here's the thing: if you mix it anyway, or you find some whatever, you're talking about the difference of like $30 a bottle.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If you buy a bottle every 2 weeks, $60 a month.
Yeah, and it's a lot of money. And it's funny with liquor because there are a lot of it is just an advertising game. It gets a
Yes.
little bit trickier when you get with wines because wines can be very specific.
Yeah, but who
so-
drinks wine? Who drinks wine?
I do.
Assholes.
Oh,
Perfect. No, sorry. Go ahead. It looked like you took that one actually to heart.
Wine's good, all right. I mean, not all. It's the same thing. Like $100 bottle of wine probably isn't going to taste any significantly better than a $30 bottle.
It's
of wine.
not going to taste $70 better.
Yeah, but there are differences between certain wines and regions and the blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you're 100% correct. You can experiment a little bit with what you're drinking or just go off the rail and just try something completely new that's a little less expensive, or just fucking calm down, or just do crack.
Crack.
You will never buy booze again once you get a steady stream of crack.
Unless you're making a giant crack pipe out of a Jim Beam bottle.
Oh yeah. All right, last one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think this is my best one. Just fucking kill a guy. Just fucking do it. You know what? And you know why? Do you know how many
Any
murders?
guy? Just any guy?
It has to be just any guy. Hear me out here.
Okay.
Do you know how many murders in this country go unsolved? A lot. Like a disturbingly high amount. So if you find some guy you don't know, what are the chances that someone's going to lead it back to you? Dead guy? Obviously not. His family? No, they've never fucking met you before. Don't get caught on camera, and now you have a dead guy. Bury him, and guess what you have? His wallet. So you either made $0 or you made an infinite amount of money, and no one is going to trace it back to you because he's dead.
First of all, I don't know anyone who has a wallet with infinite amounts of money in it.
Well, it's
Second of all,
mathematics.
Second of all, you specifically said and restated, yeah, a random guy.
100%.
You didn't say a guy coming out of Wall Street. You didn't say a dude who looked like he just picked up money from a drug deal. You just said a random guy.
Yeah, I said you could get 0 to infinite amount of money. That is not an incorrect statement.
Oh, so like if you had to to put into one word what the risk to reward ratio of that plan was, what word would you describe it as?
One word?
Yeah.
Confident.
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 I like it.
Confident.
Confident. So, it is shocking how many people get away with murder and how many are unsolved, especially given the fact that people who make a really good effort to get away with murder get caught.
It is kind of funny.
Yeah, but like two dipshits who don't have any plan and they leave shit all over the crime scene. They're like, we don't know who did it. We don't know.
You ever see that Elmo meme? It's a mystery.
It's a mystery. Yeah. Fucking Elmo. Yeah.
He's committed a couple murders.
Yeah.
And going back to the risk versus reward thing, think about it here. Because on the one spectrum, you can not get caught and not make any money. Okay, then again, Elmo.
Yeah.
Or the guy could have like a savings bond that he's been keeping in his wallet for safekeeping for some unknown reason that when you cash it is worth $1 million. And oh shit, they found you out. Guess who's going to Sweden? Guess who is? You still
Not
got
a traditional country.
you got still a shit ton of money to live off of. So I'm saying rounding up, yeah, very confident in that.
How
one.
much money can you fit in the average wallet?
Well, $100 bills.
I'm saying can't fit 10 grand. You can't.
Savings bond ticket.
I'm sorry?
A savings bond ticket.
How many people on this planet do you know that walk around with a savings bond ticket in their wallet?
You just need the one, buddy.
You just need the one.
You just need the one.
It's just like 600,000 people get murdered. And then all of a sudden it just stops because he found the one.
He found the one.
Yeah, and it was a $10 savings bond ticket.
My parents someone gave me when I was born a savings bond of $50. It's like $76 right now. I'm 34.
Doesn't it mature and stop maturing?
Yeah, it's a 30-year. I've been too lazy. Do you know how much of a hassle it is to cash those things?
Yeah, I think it's not as easy as you think it is.
No. I would have to interrupt like an entire afternoon to cash a $76 savings
I feel
bond.
like those things are the worst investment that our parents got sold on.
Yeah.
In forever.
It depends on the time. Like, it depends on the time.
Well, it depends on the time, but if you're
It's hard to protect.
If you're playing like a long game, like there's a reason they're giving you that bond. Like if money depreciates at 7% a year,
well, money isn't supposed to depreciate,
but it does. They
Right
know
now.
that, which is why they're giving you a 30-year bond to get $25 off 50. That money ain't $50 in 1988 is way more than $75 today.
Agreed. 100% agree.
I also have one that I'm going to add.
Go for it.
YouTube.
YouTube. Yeah, that's right.
It's a thing that was invented. No, YouTube. So we have a saying at my job when something comes up that needs to get fixed. And it said sarcastically, like, oh, hey, this needs to get done. We just go call the guy. Now, the guy is somebody who comes and fixes something that you don't know how to do.
Okay.
So it varies from person to person. And we all know people who don't know how to do anything in their house, like nothing, like not change a light bulb, nothing. And I see it all the time. And the amount of money that people charge you for the littlest things, because time is money. And even if it is just to change a light bulb, someone's going to have to charge you $75 just to drive to your house.
Yeah.
So YouTube is a perfect teaching example or teaching area for like very simple things to very common problems that usually cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's true.
Like my sink's clogged. Well, you could pay a plumber $250 to come out and unclog it, or you can go to Walmart and buy a $2.99 snake.
I just call my neighbor, but that's a whole other.
Not everyone has a neighbor.
Yeah.
But no, there really is things like that where, you know, some people don't know how to put air in their tires.
Yeah, there is a lot you can learn. There's actually this one guy, I think he's called Everyone's Dad or something like that. I guess the story is that he didn't have a dad growing up. So, like, he learned, like, all basic stuff way late in life, like how to shave and, like, all that kind of stuff. So he just shows basic like dad teaching you moments stuff on his YouTube channel. So he has like a bunch of things that like you would be embarrassed to ask your friend about. Like, how do I put air in my tire? Like, I don't know how to do that, man. Like,
maybe we should do a like an advanced course for that.
no, I can't do that.
But I just like go like, here's how this person does it, and you're just fucking it up. Like, this is how you really do it.
Show me how you would power wash the side of the house, Tim. You hold it like a gun and you go pew 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 pew.
Give me your money. Yeah, no, but it really is. I always say, when our parents were growing up, there was an excuse to not know something because you used to have to like go to a library and hope that there was a book on the matter. Nowadays, it's kind of the amount of excuses are not there.
Yeah,
because you can literally be like, oh, I don't know how to, change the tire, change the brakes on my 2002 Honda Civic. And they're like, well, guess what? There's 75 videos that you can look up to do that.
I will say you're making it sound easier than it is.
Yes, but I think I'm the amount that I'm making it sound easier, people make it seem so much harder than I'm making it sound easy.
I once I was contemplating skim coating my wall, found a YouTube video, found how to do it, and said, no, you said, no, you're going to do that wrong. Don't do that.
Yeah. Well, okay, I'll put it to you this way. Painting, there's certain things that require more of an artistic, experienced hand, right? I'll see where people are doing like accent walls, and they're like, yeah, you just, Bob Ross it. And you're like, no. Because if I'm trying to put up a wall and using hammers, like I can be really rough and fuck up a couple. You can't do that with painting.
You know who was really good with that? My sister-in-law. And same exact thing. So to your point, she does this thing where she will make a counter look like granite or marble using paint. And all it takes is a sponge or even a plastic bag and some acrylic paint, and then something to shine it off with, like polyurethane or something like that. So I've had her. She's done it multiple times. Every time she does it, looks friggin' phenomenal. I go to do it in my house because I just a plain white laminate countertop that was ugly, perfect space for it. I go to do it. It looked like friggin' garbage. I watched the videos. I did what I thought was right. I eventually gave up and called her, and she came and did it for me. And it took her an hour, 2 hours, and it looked phenomenal. That you could give me a year. There's no way I wouldn't be able to do it.
Here's the other thing, too. You have to be willing to fuck things up, number one. So if you know that, try it on a paper plate first if you're trying to touch up a granite countertop and you don't want to fuck that up. But at the same time, the first thing that you do when you learn something new or learn a new thing in your field is you lose efficiency. You don't do it well. Even if you're really good at Excel and there's a better way to use Excel, when you switch over, you're going to be worse at it than you are at the old Excel.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's going to be better. Like the QWERTY keyboard. Remember that whole thing?
No.
The reason why the QWERTY keyboard is set up the way the QWERTY keyboard is set up is because of the typewriter. The typewriter arms would swing up when you hit them and hit the paper. Mm-hmm. The letters were set up on the modern keyboard, the QWERTY keyboard, because they separated the letters of the arms so that the ones that you strike were so far apart that when they went up, they wouldn't jam.
Okay.
Because if you just pressed all the keys on a keyboard, the arms would all try to strike and they would jam.
Okay.
And people that would type really fast
would jam it.
Like say they put the A and the K together. Those arms, when they swing up, they would touch and jam. They have other keyboards out there that you can type way faster on once you learn how to use it. And they've tried to implement it several times, but they can't do it because people are so bad at it when they first start. They can't justify the learning curve for their business or for their whatever, so they just don't do it.
I understand that wholeheartedly, and I would be the same way. There would be no way I would change. I've typed like this for 25 years of my life.
Yeah.
I ain't going back. And like at this point I'm typing I mean, if I was like doing one of those stupid typing tests, have you ever taken those?
Yeah.
I can max out at like just at like 90 words per minute. So realistically, I'm doing like 60 to 70 on like any given moment.
Yeah.
I don't need to go faster than that. That's dumb.
Yeah, but the point of it is more so of it's an example of something that can be approved or be improved vastly. And the reason why we have the old one is for a reason that doesn't exist anymore. So there's no need to have it that way. But the reason why we don't do it is because it's too painful to switch.
Yep.
And that you could apply that to so many things. Like, well, I don't go to the gym because it's hard and I'm used to this. Like, I'm just throwing that in there because it's a very easy one, but it's very applicable to like, well, that's harder to get good at because I'm not that good at that right now. It's like, well, yeah, because you don't do it. The more you do it, then you'll be good at it. It's like not a catch-22. But the first thing, like, even if you know something very well and you switch it, you're gonna be bad at it. Mm-hmm. You're gonna be worse at it than the time that you did before. Yeah. It's very comfortable to stay with the thing that you're good at.
I don't know how we got here.
Which is calling the guy. I'm saying, you're saying like, I can't do my countertop. Well, of course you can't do it the first time. I'm sure your sister-in-law couldn't do it the first time she did it. I'm sure it's better now than the first time she did it.
That's true, but the first time she did it was really good.
Some people have a knack for certain things. But what I'm saying is, oh, you mean that you didn't do good the first time you tried something that's not that easy? Well, who would have thought that?
Stop yelling at me.
Yeah. Go to the fucking gym.
These things always turn into you yelling at me. I don't understand. All right, guys. This has possibly been the longest podcast we've ever done.
Holy shit.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Holy shit.
Holy shit is right. So we're signing out this bitch. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the little bell notification so you can get all of our videos. Don't forget to go to your behind the library in your town to get some of that crack. Give some to your kid because they're going to be really tired after working the lemonade stand. Go to Brodown.
And the drug mule.
And the drug mule. Don't forget to go to brodownpro.com. We're coming out with new stuff all the time, kind of, sort of. But there's always some new link to click on somewhere. So just fucking do it.
Just do it.
You're listening to Bro Down Podcast all